Temperature's coming up quicker now, which is always a good sign. Good morning, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you're YouTube. So it's been a while since I shot a video from the FZR. In fact, it's been a year. I realised that because a friend of mine posted up on Facebook that it was a year ago we found that Gary Warner had died, and I just shot probably the last video I shot from this bike then. So that is a sad reminder that we lost Gary, unfortunately for me, before we had a chance to really make good contact again after losing contact at upper school. But yeah, so that's a year had passed since the world lost an absolutely brilliant person. But that's by the by. It's very unfortunate. But the other reason that I've not shot a video for this is that it had developed a misfire. Now, when I was out, I've been reviewing one of the bikes. I can't remember which one it was, but I've been out to review one of the bikes. And on the way home from the dealer, this dropped onto 3 cylinders. And with a bike, that's really only going to be an HT leader or coil, and certainly this era bike, because a coil fires 2 cylinders, not 1. So if a coil had failed or anything before the coil, you're going to lose 2 cylinders. So if you've only lost 1, it's got to be between the coil and the engine. And I knew the engine was mechanically fine, so it was a HT leader coil, HT leader or plug or something like that. And on this one, it turned out to be a plug. Now I was a bit surprised at that, because when I did a video about a year ago, 18 months ago, I did a video on fake parts, and I stated in that there's a lot of fake spark plugs out there, and I'd put plugs in this when I rebuilt the bike, when I restored the bike. I used NGK brand, that's all I ever use, and I did buy them via eBay, but I looked at the price and I could pay half what I paid for these. I thought, oh, do you know what? These are about £5 a plug, so these are going to be genuine because they're the same, almost the same price as buying from someone like sparkplugs.co.uk. So I bought the more expensive ones, thinking I was being smart and getting away without getting caught with fake plugs. Guess what? I got a set of fake plugs. So pretty much you now have to assume that away from a seller like sparkplugs.co.uk or M&P, assume every single spark plug on eBay is fake. Never ever buy eBay plugs, even if the price suggests they're going to be legit. A lot of these fakes now are very, very, very convincing, and these ones were. They looked absolutely spot on. It was only when I put them up against the normal genuine plugs that I got from sparkplugs.co.uk that I was able to spot them as fakes. So that, given the lack of space I had in the garage and the various things going on throughout the year, meant the poor old FZR has sat languishing for 12 months, for a full year, sat languishing in the garage doing nothing, partly disassembled, because I just didn't have the space to do anything with it, let alone the time. Now, the Ducati, unfortunately, I've had that 7 years. Again, lack of time. It's been ridden once this year, so it's got off to a new owner, a very, very amiable chap who's, I don't think you mind me saying, a wealthy collector in London. He's got a great collection of Italian cars and bikes, and Ducati's going to make a great addition to his fleet. So it's gone to a good home, which I'm really pleased at. I cannot express enough how much enjoyment that bike gave me in the 7 years I owned it. But with 3 bikes in the garage instead of 4, it is much, much, much easier to work on things, it's much easier to move about, and it is the right thing to do. You know, I have the space. Now, even if I was to pick up a project, I don't really have, you know, any inclination to do much with it, even if I accrued some parts, but it's not too highly up the list at the moment, but you never know. I mean, someone once said that a motorcycle was a pandemonium device designed and ridden by mechanical geniuses and madmen. Well, I'm not a mechanical genius, so in no way, shape or form is there the slightest hint that I'm starting to collect parts for a Turbo GSXR project.
Too jazzy?
No, not at all. That's not happening. So yeah, just to get that image out your head. But anyway, so yeah, fake parts struck again. So on the subject of maintenance though, as we're now in October, it brings me into one other area. and that's preparing your bike for winter. So it does seem a little bit odd that I'm taking this off for its MOT in October, but hey, it's going to be in MOT till October next year, so it doesn't really matter. It does mean that all 3 bikes now are good to go till at least the middle of next year. So as soon as we get a nice salt-free day, I can jump on and go for a ride, which is something I've done precious little of this year. But anyway, so with winter prep, you'll hear a lot of people, an awful lot of people. Can't see a thing, my visor steamed up. Bear with me a second. There we go. An awful lot of people say, oh, you got to drain your tank, oh, you got to empty the float bowls out, turn the fuel off, run it out of fuel, all these sort of things. And from the amount of debate on the subject, it's clear there is no exactly right or wrong way of doing it, because if there was, there'd be one answer, and that, yeah, there is only one correct answer to a problem a lot of the time. So what I do, I always fill up with super unleaded. I use super unleaded because it typically in this part of the country has no ethanol in it, so there's nothing to retain moisture. I fill the tank brim full with super unleaded. I put it on a paddock stand, front and rear if possible, to get the weight off the tyres a little bit more. And I just make sure that they're ready to go. I don't use any fuel stabiliser additives or anything like that. And there's 2 reasons for that. One, the bike's only going to be sitting maybe 5 or 6 months tops. And 2, the reason fuel goes off as quickly as it does in a lot of bikes is not the fuel, it's the fuel filler cap seal. And what happens, if your seal's gone hard with age, it doesn't seal as well as it does, and it allows a bit more airflow than it should do. And what happens then, all the volatile organic components or compounds in the fuel can evaporate and leave you with the less volatile, i.e. less burnable, stickier, sludgy stuff afterwards. And it only needs to alter by a few percent to make the fuel effectively what they term go stale. So when I rebuild a bike, I always change the fuel cap seal, and that basically means that the only breathing the tank can do is via the one-way valve in the cap. And there is a pressure relief valve, but it's not a normal breather valve, so in theory the valve of the cap should only allow air to come in to replace fuel as it's used. So what happens then is that without lots of free breathing, the volatile organic compounds don't evaporate, the fuel doesn't go stale so quickly. This bike was fired up with fuel that was over a year old, no problem at all because the cap seal was fine. So as long as you're going to be riding the bike next spring, if you've got a new seal or a recent seal on your fuel cap, just fill it up with super, pop it on a battery tender, you'll be good to go next year. Always give the tyres a good dose of air, keep the pressures nice and high, that helps prevent flat spotting, and it's good to give it a thorough clean as well, a little coat of WD-40 in vulnerable areas. So I think people think too much about it. They're seeing stale fuel as a problem when actually it's a symptom of a different problem. But there you go, it's MOT time. If you like these videos, hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you soon.